Ahead on our news tonight, keep the VAT on breadbasket items. A noted economist weighs in. The joys of motherhood that almost didn't happen. A new mother tells her incredible life-giving story. And going from bust to bang, COVID gives life to new industries. We find out what's next for this popular service. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kendino Knowles. We've got breaking news tonight as investigators on the scene of a triple death in Exuma. Police called to the Sandals Resort on the island today after 4 guests were found unresponsive inside a room. The one survivor is flown to New Providence. Exuma police are not giving a cause of death, but health officials are scheduled to travel there tomorrow to complete investigations. A statement from Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, who is serving as the acting Prime Minister, confirms the deaths of 2 men and 1 woman, all Americans. He also confirms the treatment of the 4th female American tourist. His statement released on social media, denying any foul play but gives no cause of death. It confirms he has notified the Prime Minister and that a team led by the Health Minister is heading to Exuma along with Environment and Public Works teams. Condolences also offered to the victims' families. And a statement from Sandals tonight says, "Nothing is more important than the safety of guests. It is with deep sadness that we can confirm the passing of 3 guests at Emerald Bay Resort." The statement goes on to confirm a health emergency was initially reported, and following our protocols, we immediately alerted emergency medical professionals and relevant local authorities to provide support and investigate the situation. It says we are actively working to support both the investigation as well as the guests' families in every way possible during this difficult time. Out of respect for the privacy of our guests, we cannot disclose further information at this time. This is a developing story that we will continue to follow, and be sure and follow Our News Bahamas on Facebook for all the latest on this. A noted economist slamming calls for VAT to be taken off breadbasket items. Fidelity CEO Gowan Bowe telling our Jared Higgs that it amounts to giving a tax break to thousands who don't need it in order to help some who do. And he's suggesting a different way.
Are they now promoting a continued expansion of the divide between the have and the have-nots? Because that is what zero rating and exemption will do to breadbasket items.
Bowe was adamant that removing VAT from breadbasket items doesn't necessarily help poor Bahamians. He says it gives a tax break to thousands who don't need it.
In the absence of having a tax system that is based on your income and your ability to pay, then it is best that you have a broad-based tax that collects from all persons and redirects the excesses to those who need it the most.
On January 1st, 2022, the PLP government put VAT back on breadbasket items and lowered the rate across the board to 10%. SuperValue owner Rupert Roberts has called for VAT to be removed on breadbasket items as a response to rising inflation. FNM chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands says putting VAT back on breadbasket items was tone deaf.
That 10% is more significant to those people than it is to others. They could very well have chose to leave the 12% VAT on high-end properties above $2 million. They chose not to do that.
But Bowe doesn't agree that removing VAT on breadbasket items is effective.
There is no one who is unbiased who would say that it is appropriate to give tax benefits to those who are wealthy and have the ability, and not even wealthy, those who are comfortable in their income and able to pay their taxes. That it is unconscionable to be recommending that I give those individuals a tax concession because I am trying to help those who need a tax break.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Thanks, Jared. A recent increase in COVID-19 cases is significant, according to former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who says the positivity rate has jumped over the past 2 weeks, leaving him to think officials are flying blind.
Remember, we had days of 2 or 3 cases of COVID confirmed by PCR. We now see, over a 14-day period, an average caseload of 16 cases per day. In addition, we see that the positivity rate has consistently been above 5%. above 10%, and in some instances, above 15%.
On Wednesday, health officials reported 29 new COVID-19 cases, with the majority of those cases here in New Providence. Dr. Sands saying the numbers come at a time when there has been a decrease in PCR testing. He says he understands that there are a significant amount of positive cases using the less sensitive antigen test.
I am advised by reliable sources that there are a number of antigen positives that are being reported. Some of them related to the tourism sector. And as you know, these reports, the antigen positives, do not make it onto the dashboard. They never have.
25 illegal migrants arrested today. We've got more on that coming up. But first, it's time now for your first look at weather. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he's in the Weather Center with a look at temperatures. Greg?
Thanks, Kendina, and welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this last day of the week, Friday. Warm temperatures outside our studios, mostly clear skies, and one way to describe our temperatures today, very hot. You see what it feels like temperature is right now? 85. West-northwest winds at 6 miles per hour, and of course, very, very warm conditions around the islands. High pressure ridge in charge. That upper level disturbance is well east of the islands. Most of the isolated showers have since dissipated over the course of the day. We do have some high level clouds moving across our area, but all in all, it should be a very nice and quiet night, and we'll expect to see some very warmer temperatures once again tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. Well, still to come on our news, the Bahamas gets ready to cash in on crypto. And when doctors said no, this new mom never gave up on her dream for her own bundle of joy. And the folks at Craven serving up something great in the near future.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
25 illegal migrants are now in custody and facing deportation following a joint operation between police, customs, and immigration leading to their arrest in the area of Xanadu Beach. The group, consisting of 1 Mexican man, 10 Cuban men, and 9 Cuban women, 5 children were also in that group. Police say the arrest happening shortly before 11 o'clock this morning after officers say they received information that led them to the area where they observed 2 Caucasian males walking towards a vessel docked in the canal. Officers say after approaching the 2 men, they searched the vessel that did not clear Bahamas customs and found a small quantity of suspected marijuana. Officers later proceeding to an apartment complex on Pinta Avenue, South Bahamia, where they say they found the remaining migrants. They were all arrested and handed over to the Department of Immigration for further investigation and deportation. Well, the Davis administration taking steps to fulfill its self-imposed mandate of making the Bahamas a leader in the evolving digital asset space. Sasha Lightbourne reporting tonight that the Deputy Prime Minister recently outlining those steps at a recent Rotary meeting.
Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper was asked whether a crypto czar will be appointed soon, as the government is now seeking to become the leader in the digital asset space in the region. The ongoing discussions in the local and international financial sector on the future of crypto and digital assets, leading to another question, whether a Ministry of Technology and Innovation should be created. The Deputy Prime Minister answering this way.
I met with someone today at 12 o'clock, just before I came here, and we discussed the possibility of that individual manning what I call a crypto desk. Announced this when I spoke at the recent cryptocurrency event, and we will continue to do all we can to demonstrate our commitment to the space.
His comments coming at the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of West Nassau, the Deputy Prime Minister saying the desk would create a sort of one-stop shop to enable the framework for the industry in an easy, transparent manner and as pain-free as possible.
This is going to happen in short order, and I announced it last week, as I mentioned, and this week I'm working on it, and I hope within the next few weeks he will be able to begin, or someone of that caliber who has an exposure to the industry internationally can bring great value to help us to shepherd this business to the level that we hope we can get it to. So suffice to say, it has strong support of government in every area.
Cooper also speaking to additional steps the government will be taking this month.
We are laying in Parliament on May 16th an amendment to the existing legislation to ensure that we are compliant with international standards, anti-money laundering, etc., and to ensure that we are consistently competitive with what the industry is doing in the rest of the world.
Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Well, a major power surge just before midnight Thursday causing a disruption in Cable Bahamas' internet and television services. Teams working diligently through the night began service restorations shortly before 5 o'clock this morning. In a statement, the company apologizing to customers, saying as of noon, all internet and majority of TV services were fully restored, with teams continuing restoration efforts to resolve any remaining disruptions. When our news comes back from the break, a new mom gets ready to celebrate a miracle that she thought could never happen. Plus, Craven gets ready to serve up something new. The details when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
This is our news. Welcome back. Imagine waiting to be a mother your whole life only to find out you can't. Well, thanks to modern medicine, many women are defying the odds. Tonight, our Megan Shepard brings us the story of a new mother celebrating her very first Mother's Day thanks to the miracle of science.
The IVF process for us was very smooth. We didn't have any hiccups, no challenges. So I'm grateful.
Sweet coos of baby Aya, as her mother, Angela Stubbs, reflects on her journey to motherhood through in vitro fertilization. At 40, Stubbs discovered she had blocked fallopian tubes. Research led her to the safest solution, IVF.
The process of egg retrieval, there are hormone shots that have to be taken for the first 10 days. And after that, there's a waiting period for the fertilized eggs to then turn into what they call blastocysts.
From there, the best fertilized egg is implanted. Stubbs recalls her emotions at the time.
It's a lot of anxiety. I mean, at 12 a.m., the 10th day is when we took the pregnancy test. That's how anxious we were.
On February 8th, baby Aya Bell Rain Stubbs arrived.
So the name Aya actually means the existence of God. So her name had to have had meaning, after what we've been through from the beginning.
And like most new mothers, Stubbs is still glowing and gushing over this bundle of joy.
My heart literally felt like it was about to explode when I was, fully aware after the anesthesia, and I could hold her and breastfeed her and interact with her. It was the best feeling ever.
She's looking forward to her first Mother's Day.
Immense joy, happiness.
By sharing her story, Stubbs learned of the many women with infertility issues suffering in silence.
You're not alone. Do not give up. If this being a mother is what you want, go after it.
Reporting for our news, I'm Megan Shepard.
Thanks, Megan, and we're wishing Mama and baby Stubbs all the best. Well, you can watch more on this story on Our News Bahamas on Facebook. And if you're still searching for the perfect Mother's Day gift, then this next story may pique your interest. Berthany McDermott introduces us to one young Bahamian entrepreneur who is offering a unique watch design.
Birthed in the height of the pandemic and with a drive to introduce some freshness to the Bahamian market, Sterman Roll produced the Lancaster brand. The brand provides watch lovers with a minimal modern design that's simply Bahamian. Since launching in March 2020, Roll said the response exceeded his expectations.
We've had a really overwhelming response so far, and a lot of persons have been inquiring, a lot of persons have actually been purchasing. And so I think at this point we've been open about 2 months now, and things have been going well. And so it was actually, I think the reaction and the response was greater than I expected it to be.
Despite the unexpected influx, he says they've met the demand. All watches are unisex. The faces are 40 millimeters, the unisex size. However, he says the plan is to eventually produce gender-specific watches. The brand provides the option of leather band or mesh bands and comes in colors like black, brown, gray, gold, and rose gold. But how did he get to this point? He explains the plan wasn't always to produce watches.
Initially, it was a cologne line that I wanted to bring out. And I had the name Lancaster, and the name actually is my middle name. Is also my father's middle name as well, and so that's where the name comes from, Lancaster. But when I started doing some research, I was like, there's a lot that goes into creating fragrances, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to take on all of that yet. And so I saw watches as another avenue.
Roll's brother is his partner in this venture. What's next for the Lancaster brand? He's hoping to get the watches into stores.
Definitely want to get into the store. Looking at possibly speaking with John Bull to see if that's a possibility of getting the watch in the store, and then other watch stores that we have here.
As a young Bahamian entrepreneur, Roll says things don't always go as planned. He gave this bit of advice to others like him.
If you believe in a vision, if you believe in your brand, go for it. It doesn't matter how many other persons are doing the same thing. What you offer will obviously be different, unless you're literally copying somebody else, but it will be different in some way, shape, or form. Persons can reach us at all of our social media pages, the Lancaster brand, on Instagram, Facebook.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Greg, he's back in the Weather Center with your weekend forecast, and later, Craven delivering some exciting news. It's all coming up when Our News returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Salute.
Welcome back to Our News. If you're looking for a quick health check this weekend, you can skip the hospital and clinic lines and participate in a family health fair tomorrow. The fair is a way of giving back for Dr. Penn Knowles, to the Marathon and wider community.
I believe in giving back. Marathon has given a lot to me, and it's important that I recognize them. One of the other thing is, I'm so proud of where I am so far, and recognizing my accomplishment to date. I feel as though I should do something for my country and my environment.
Dr. Penn Knowles runs Clinic Care, a woman's care diagnostic and reproductive center. But tomorrow's health fair isn't just for women, it's structured for the entire family.
We're going to be doing some blood pressure checks, sugar checks, we're going to check cholesterols, we're going to do HIV testing. We also want to recognize the patients that have come through the center, those that I have been successful in assisting, and we want to have a good family day. So we're also going to have a little kiddie area where the children could kind of come and play a little game and hang out with us.
Now, a number of companies have come on board to assist with the health fair, including Lowe's, Commonwealth Drugs, and Nassau agencies, among others. Now, if you're interested, the health fair will be held at Dr. Knowles' office on Marathon Road beginning at 11 a.m. It's time now for your extended forecast, and Greg is standing by in the Weather Center with a look at the week ahead. Greg?
Thanks again, Candino. Welcome back, everybody, for our final look at weather on this very quiet Friday evening. High pressure ridge at the surface dominating our weather with some very nice weather. Hot temperatures, though, as we have a lot of dry air moving across the area. You notice an upper level spin that's counterclockwise out there in the open Atlantic just to the east of the Bahamas. That's a disturbance that produced some showers across the area. Pushing out towards the east and away from us, that high pressure ridge across the area will keep a frontal boundary to the north of us over the next day or two before it gets in here sometime by the end of the weekend into the beginning of next week. And that front will bring us some showers and some isolated thunderstorms by the beginning of next week, Monday, Tuesday time frame. And once that gets out here, high pressure will build in behind that, and we will see some breezy conditions for at least a day or two before things quiet down by the middle of the week. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Your winds will fall off light and variable ahead of that frontal boundary well to the northwest of us, but they will begin to tighten. The pressure gradient, that is, south to southwesterly winds picking up at 15 knots. Your seas running 3 to 5 feet over the ocean tomorrow. Your low tide will be at 7:25 tomorrow morning. For the central and southeastern islands, we have a southeast southerly flow, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Those winds will fall light and variable at times, and your seas will run under 3 feet on occasions. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through next Friday. Beautiful conditions expected for the weekend, and of course, Mother's Day is on Sunday. Let me wish my mother a happy Mother's Day. That's a look at our weather. Back to you, Candino.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. And if you're a Craven user, you can look forward to some new features soon. The owner of the successful mobile delivery services app was tight-lipped about it, what exactly is to come, but he spoke with us about the success of the company, which he reports is now financially set. He says he's not had much of a life outside of the work that he's done for nearly 3 years now, working 16 plus hours a day, 7 days a week. But he says he believes it's that work ethic that has made his company so successful.
Definitely feasible. There's definitely more opportunity for growth. You're seeing that. It's been a good ride. Yeah. It's been a good ride. Let's leave it at that.
Were you surprised with the success?
No, not at all. I have total faith, total confidence that this would work. It works.
Where does that come from?
I would say my experience with the service, first off. Secondly, I did a lot of research and analysis on this business.
And it's something Craven owner Kyle Albury is encouraging existing and aspiring entrepreneurs to do more of. Craven was launched pre-pandemic and has grown exponentially over the past 2.5 years, onboarding some 150 vendors in that time. He expects 100 more will join the platform before year's end, touting proper planning as the gateway to his success.
I think oftentimes people focus more on the execution and not focus on planning. I took, as I said, 2 years, but it's actually a little bit longer than that because I actually started doing research and reading up on it like maybe a year before. And I think the fact that I took a lot of time and effort in the planning, it really made the execution piece a lot easier and had me believe in what it is that I was putting out there in the market. It made it a lot more seamless.
With a strong belief in partnership, Albury is encouraging more business owners to adapt the same mindset, and he's now challenging operators to think global.
So I always try to look abroad and mimic what it is that they're doing. And that's something that I did from the onset as a part of my planning exercises, right? There are a lot of tools. There are a lot of resources that you can leverage right online. Planning.
But it's almost the expectation of the issues and challenges also something you could plan for.
Correct.
Even if you couldn't plan for the exact scenario.
Correct.
Or exact circumstance, the fact that you anticipated
correct.
That, would you say helped you out?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Albury's success was recently featured in the new RTV special Spotlight on Digital Transformation, where he talks innovation and adapting to the changing world we live in.
Digital transformation is something that should have been done or emphasized prior to COVID. Hence why I launched my business prep. But definitely post-COVID era now, you have to accelerate it.
You mentioned about what those new features are.
I can't disclose that at the moment.
That was me trying.
Yeah, I can't disclose that at the moment.
No worries.
Yeah.
And as you saw there, we did try to get him to detail those features, but he remains tight-lipped for now, but he's promising us that we will be among the first to learn, and we'll certainly share those features with you. With that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kendino Knowles. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. And until then, have a wonderful evening.